Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Happy Thriving Lives community Zoom call here. Tonight we are talking about prioritizing me time. Hopefully everybody's having a good week so far and is doing absolutely amazing and prioritizing their own me times. We're going to kind of talk about, why is carving out that time for ourselves really, really important, um, and really how we do that as well. Renee, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Not a lot of stress, but
Yeah.
pretty
What
good. Keep it going.
What have you done so far this week for your own me time?
Ooh, what have I done? Well, I'm working on my sleep this week. Marcus wants me sleeping more, not waking up at 4 a.m. 5 days a week. So,
Yeah, what was our plan of action to kind of help you carve out a little more sleep for yourself?
so I already go to bed pretty early, but I have to move my workout. I have to move my workouts to more so on the weekend. So typically that'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I did yesterday morning, I did a morning workout. And then today I get off work early, so I got to walk in outside. So that was some
Take
movement,
advantage of that
but
before it gets nasty outside.
yeah, it's so nice out. It's
I know,
crazy.
it's awesome.
Um, but yeah, normally my me time, I mean, I have a lot of me time, but normally my main me time is the gym in the morning. And
Yeah.
so we're trying to focus on getting a little more sleep. I track my sleep, which I'll probably talk about at some point too, but my deep sleep hasn't been great. So I'm trying to work on getting that better, and getting more so 7+ hours instead of 6.5
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. And I know one of the things that you left out there that we made a change this week was moving. So since you have, Saturdays and Sundays for sure, that you have actually Friday, Saturday, Sundays, you always have those days off from work. Then, we're prioritizing getting those days as your for sure workout days, and then having a little bit more sleep on the Monday through Thursdays, and maybe only having to get up super early a couple days instead of every single one of those days. Um, but yeah, good. I'm happy that this week has been going well, that you've prioritized what we talked about. So that's awesome. Before I kind of dive into this topic a little bit more, I remember that I had one little excerpt from a check-in early this week that I shared on social media that I wanted to share again because I think it's just super important. It's very quick. Um, so this client, before she actually started answering her check-in questions, she said, I'm prefacing this check-in by saying it was definitely the roughest week I've had since starting with TLF, and she's been with me for a couple of months. But when compared to my bad weeks that I've had in the past, couple of months even, this week looks so much better than they used to. And I think that's super, super powerful. And that's one of the things that, especially, for those of us who are coming from really, really tough lifestyles and really not prioritizing ourselves and really not doing a lot of positives for ourselves, it's so important that we don't get so caught up in the day-to-day monotony or, the fluctuations on the scale, and really live and die by what that progress shows us. And instead, think about where you were a month ago or 2 months ago, or if you've been with TLF or just on your journey for a year now or a couple of years. What did your old best weeks used to look like, and what did your old bad weeks used to look like? And I can guarantee, if you've really been working at this and really prioritizing this, your new worst weeks, like in her situation, this was her worst week since starting with TLF. Look, even that worst week now looked so much better than what her best weeks used to look like, what her average weeks used to look like. So it's all about just raising that baseline. It's taking that what we're currently doing and just raising that bar and expecting a little bit more from ourselves. So that was huge, and I love that, and I think that's super, super powerful. And I think that's something that, not just what the scale says or what our progress pictures show, but that should be, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but that should be one of the comparisons that we always look at, is where did we come from, versus where we are right now. But so kind of getting back into this, we're talking about, as I asked Renee just a minute ago, is finding our me time. Why is that important, and how we do that? So me time, obviously, it's super essential for maintaining our mental and emotional well-being. Of course, our physical well-being, but it's much more about our mental side of things. I think something that I can finally speak on from true experience now. It's only been 5 weeks, but as I've always been able to speak on this before, but I've always been kind of hesitant to talk too much about it because I haven't been a parent before. But even in just the past 5 weeks, I can see how very, very easy it would be to completely lose yourself in just being a mom or just being a dad. into to not putting your health first. Now, obviously, for the first month, even for the first couple months, or whatever the case is, you're not going to be able to prioritize yourself like you once had. But if it's just not even a thought, if it's not even an effort, if it's nothing on your priority list, then it's just not going to happen. And so I can see how if you've neglected yourself for a month or 6 months, that can quickly become a year, or quickly become a couple years. And before we know it, like a lot of TLFers, when they first come to me, that's been them for the past 5 years, or maybe even a decade or two. And so we want to get ahead of that. And that's, I think, why we're all here as well. So, talking about that me time, something that I think Nicole and I talked about this past, it was about 2 weeks ago we started doing this, and we call them doing our Sunday scaries. And so every Sunday, and it's not really actually scary, it's just a fun term that we like to call it. But we talk about what are the things that, because right now she's on maternity leave, and I'm obviously have my schedule how I can make it. What are the things that we want to prioritize getting done this week for ourselves? Obviously, we have our family things that we're going to do, and we're going to have a lot of family time with us being both home. But because of that, what are the things that we independently want to go do? Whether that's a chiropractor, it's going on a walk, it's going to the gym. Actually, we've been going to the gym together as a family, which has been awesome. It's been one of my dreams to get to go with Nicole and our baby to the gym. But then outside of that, what are other things that we want to do to take care of ourselves, or to give us, just a break from the house, or a break from just being a parent for whether it's 30 minutes or a couple hours. And I think that's been super, super helpful in us kind of giving our best to each other, giving our best to Lola, and just everything that we're doing. Because before it seemed like we were just treading water, and it just seemed like, and again, it's so short term, it's only been 5 weeks. I understand that there's going to be ebbs and flows of this over the next 18, 30, 40 years or whatever. But still, I think it's very important that we're being mindful of this at the moment, and not letting it go months and months and months without us really having these conversations and thinking about what we want to do together. So, Renee mentioned, one of her me time things is going to the gym. Obviously, that's one of those things. What was it? Yesterday, I was feeling kind of bogged down. It was kind of just a busy, hectic day. And I was just feeling a little bit stressed and overwhelmed. And I had just a ton of thoughts kind of going through my head. And I said, do you mind if I go on a hike right now? Take boss to Shawnee Mission Lake, go on a hike. And that was exactly what I did. I got up there for about 60 minutes, and I came back feeling so rested and recharged. And before, I was feeling a little bit burnt out from the past week or so. And that one little hour away that I communicated I needed, and Nicole was all for it as well. I came back and was in such a great mood, and so much, just clearer thoughts and everything else. And part of that was exercising and moving my body, but part of that was just being out in nature and kind of giving myself the opportunity to kind of clear my head. But anyway, I don't want to dominate this whole thing. I kind of want to hear from all you guys, whether that's you, Renee, or anybody else on here. If you want to chime in, what are some different things you do for me time? Let's not say workout, because I know that's going to be a lot of our answers. What are some other things though? Some maybe not so obvious things.
Yeah, so I'll say at first I'm very, well, becoming a lot more introverted, and a lot more just kind of, I'm very independent. And so a lot of my time is me time to begin with. So that in and of itself is different than most people that have significant others or spouses or children or things like that. So a lot of my me time, I get it all the time, which is great. Um, but a few of my things that I like to do would be journal, whether that's I dedicate 30 minutes to journal, or whether it's just a quick little like journal entry to get emotions out of my head and onto paper. And then music can be another one where if I just take time just to sit there and listen to music, moving my body at some, I know we said not to talk about workouts, but moving my body, even if it's not like lifting weights, just something. And I preach this to my clients all the time too, of find something that you can do for yourself every single day for at least 10 minutes. Whether that's your wind down routine before bed, whether that's reading 10 pages in a book, just something to where you're showing up and respecting yourself and respecting your time, and creating those habits to continue doing so. So my nighttime routine that I try my best to stick to, but I've been really bad about screen time lately, so that's kind of where some of the sleep issues come into. But I will drink my magnesium, and then I have a Hatch alarm clock, which is one of my favorite things, and that has like a little wind down routine I can do. So it'll go through like progressive like muscle relaxation or just like say little like nighttime stories or things like that. And that's just time where I just shut down and it's just again me time. So like I said, I get a lot of me time and I prioritize a lot of me time on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've talked about that in the past, how you kind of got away from what your old habits and lifestyle kind of look like to reinvest back in yourself. And obviously that's paid dividends in every aspect of your life. But including, mental health and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Those are definitely good ones. Anybody else? You guys have anything sticking out to you that, outside of the gym? And I guess you can say the gym if you just want to extra bonus point, but anything else that you guys use as specific me time things that you use to escape, to recharge, all that good stuff. And if not, don't worry, I have like a whole list of things that we can dive into as well. Maybe you're here just to find out things. Nicolette?
I could share. Typically, as long as our kid, well, before daylight savings time, we would wake up at 6 and we read. Nick and I both wake up at 6. We uh, read whatever book we're reading. We read our Bible. We just have quiet time. So we try to do that at 6 or 6:30, just depending upon the day. And then a lot of times, during the week, listening, we try to read and listen to podcasts every day. So do that, and just find that time that fills you back up, especially when you're with kiddos all day.
And you have
But
two
yeah,
kids, right?
yep,
Two.
2, almost 2 and 3.5.
Yep.
So Nick works from home. I'm at home, so we're all home all the time,
You
every
need you,
day,
you need
all
some
day.
break. You need a little escape, both from Nick and the kids, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. He does agree that being with the children is more of a job than his actual job, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
But he's able to go down and like being in the quiet. But even when I'm with them, like if they're playing at the park or doing whatever, like um, just focusing. I love nature, so like if I'm outside, I'm like, okay, you guys are good and playing. Like today we were doing a craft, but I was picking up a bunch of leaves and just thinking, not like they were in their own little world. And
Yeah. You
I
don't have to
guess
be
I was
quite,
in my own little world. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we
you,
were
you don't
just
have to
kind of
be
like,
quite as on.
yeah, exactly. And so those are just some things, but the reading and listening is definitely things that we try to prioritize every day for ourselves.
Yeah.
Um,
Love that.
and obviously exercising, going outside as much as we can.
Well, and I know I said we can't say gym, but for a mom of a 2-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, one of the things we talked about when you came back to TLF, a month or two ago was how, is that hard to get to the gym with a 2 and a 3.5-year-old? And you're like, that's why they have daycares there. You can drop the kids off for an hour. They're going to have somebody to watch them there. And that gives you the time to go get that in so that when you are with them the rest of the day, you're fully present. You've taken care of yourself. You filled into your own cup. And now you can go pour into theirs the rest of the day until they go to bed.
Yep.
And yeah. And sometimes I don't know how you guys do it, if you guys both go to the gym at the same time, or if you guys switch off, or if your days look different. But regardless, I think that's definitely been a conversation for both of you. And you've found that to work. And I think that's a huge component of all this is communicating. If anybody on here is married or has a relationship, it's communicating your needs in a way that you can find that balance with your significant other to make it work for both of you. So I love that. Good job,
Yeah,
Nicolette.
for sure. Just to add one more thing on that, like our days do look different, but we try to talk on Sundays too. We try to like just kind of map out our week and figure out, what we have going on. And the kids are my primary responsibility during the day, so I do take them. And it's just something that we do. If they're like, I don't want to go to the gym, I'm like, well, that's great, I do, so you're gonna go play and you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But like yeah, just prioritizing that. It's just super important. I feel like if moms are in a place where they're struggling with that, they will be okay away from you for 1 hour a day, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, and that helps me make it, feel better as we get it more into it as well. Katie, you're a teacher, and I love how you got your hand raised. You know how to use Zoom in a educational setting. What's up? What you got for me? If you can still talk, I know you raised your hand a few minutes ago.
Oh, I'm such a nerd. I have been trying, I mean, you said gym and bonus points. Working out has been a new way of carving out time. I've got 3 kids, and I was the quintessential, I've got 3 kids, I don't have any time.
Mhm.
And so getting back in it, but I try to spend at least 20 minutes making something every day. So I am a teacher, as he said, I'm an art teacher. And so I even have a couch craft. It's embroidery. Kids go to bed, I sit on the couch and I work on it for a little bit before bed.
That's awesome.
Reading is the other one.
That's great. So two totally different things than I would even think about. Obviously I'm a PE teacher, so those reading and art have never been my strong suit. But I love that though. So you spend at least 20 minutes a day creating, and that's outside of your job, obviously outside of teaching art at school. You do that on your own time. And then like you said, you got 3 kids, so I think moms and dads in general always have that ready-made excuse they can't do it. And I don't think that's always even that's an excuse. It's a real reality of things depending on the day. But with 3 kids, I love that you're prioritizing carving that time out for yourself. And hopefully you're seeing that it's manageable, even if it's just for a little bit of time a day. And I think it's so powerful for them to see that mom is carving that time out as well. That are you maybe not spending that time necessarily with them? Yeah, but I think that the trade-off of them seeing their mom be active is just as powerful as if you would have spent that 30 minutes directly with them and playing, because I know you're going to do that as well. So finding that kind of balance with, and then obviously the older they get, the more they might want to involve themselves in your workouts as well. I always love when I get parents on here that their kids are doing their workouts with them. To some extent, especially if you're working out. That's awesome, Katie, for sharing that. And then I got Cole and Melanie on here said getting nails done and soaking in a bath. I'm sure that's Cole and not Melanie. I know I personally love getting my nails done. It's not necessarily my me time because I'll go do it with Nicole, but no, yeah, get self-care in that sense is always a good thing. So getting your nails done, soaking your bath is always a good thing. Some other things on here that I had, Renee said it a little bit as well, just getting some form of exercise a day, that could just be a walk. That could be getting outside and just playing with your dog. Like these things seem so small, but just being intentional, whatever it's going to be. And that could be different every single day. If you're just intentional about, I'm taking a break from the world for a minute, taking a break from my duties as a parent or my career, whatever the case is, just to do what sounds good to me for this shorter period of time, you're going to be a better person because of it. You're going to be a more involved, a happy, just well-balanced person than if you're just so work, duties, whatever it is that you got to do. So another thing's on here, Renee also mentioned journaling. That's something that can really help you if you are having a tough time being mindful, and just really present in the moment. I think that's a great thing to do. I've always, talked about on here, but the 5-minute journal, I always keep it at my desk just in case I'm feeling kind of out of balance. Just ask you, some different, what are 3 things you're grateful for today? What are some things that you want to, get it, what would make today amazing? And then you kind of reflect at nighttime with that as well. Some other things though, it could be just on your drive to work and just enjoying music or enjoying a good podcast. Again, it could just be, any other physical activity, yoga and things like that. But so again, the whole purpose of doing all this is so you can rest and recharge and bring your best you to the table for you and everybody that you love. Melanie said Cole's is PS4. Even just 20 minutes is a recharge. So, video games, that's another thing as well. I didn't even have it on my list, but I forget that, sometimes I just want to go play some video games for a few hours. Sometimes, just binge watching something. Like we look at that as such a negative thing, sitting down watching TV for hours on end or playing video games, stuff like that. We see it as like a lazy thing, but if you are go all the time, sometimes that's exactly what you need, is to be able to sit down and recharge with that. And really truly escape from the world for a little bit. That's usually back when, when Nicole goes back to work. Sundays are days to do absolutely nothing. We purposefully don't make any plans unless we absolutely have to, so that if we want to go to the park that day, we can do it. If we want to go get a nails done that day or go to the gym that day, we can do it. Or if we just literally just want to lay down from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the couch and do absolutely nothing, then we'll do that as well. But that's also well balanced by us being active and doing all the right things for ourselves the rest of the week, so that we feel like we've, you know, earned that Sunday doing nothing. But anybody else have anything to you guys do for your me time to help you rest and recharge and come kick ass the rest of the week? All right, rock and roll. Well,
Marcus, I know you've done golf lately too, so any time of like
yes,
hobbies, that
yes,
helps.
hobbies like that.
Mhm.
Yes, golf is one of those. That's actually, I don't know if that one's necessarily relaxing all the time. I think it is more times than not, but it can definitely be a little more aggravating. But no, yeah, golf has been one of my things as well. Part of that, I'm hoping that I can get a little lit into golf. Those the women's PGA Tour, they make decent money, and that'd be a fun hobby. Sport for me and her to go out and do. I've even convinced Nicole to go out there because it's nice weather and we're out in nature. Hey, come out and just sit in the cart and watch me yell at my golf club for an hour. But yeah, no, that's a good one. Renee also likes golf as well. I know it's a good way to kind of get out there. And another way to go connect with friends. You know, I think that's another thing that a lot of people struggle with, kind of going off topic, is, you know, when people first come to TLF, it's they don't want to give up their social time. And I think a lot of times social time with friends and family results in us going out to eat, us getting drinks, us doing, while those are healthy activities in terms of the connection that it brings us. And, you know, a well-balanced person is a social person that has friends and family that they want to go connect with other people. But the flip side of that is most times that revolves around other unhealthy habits, such as eating out or drinking. And that could be a weekly thing. It could be every weekend thing. It could be few and far between. If it's few and far between, indulge and enjoy those things. But if you are used to those weekly, especially if it's like Saturday and Sunday, you know, you're spending a lot of money doing those things, and you are sacrificing a lot of kind of what your goals are. You know, if you're crushing it, I have one client that, you know, she's crushing it Monday through Friday, but then on the weekend, she's kind of letting go a little bit. And because that's what she was doing prior to TLF. And that's fine because she's being able to maintain and tread water, but we're not really seeing a ton of progress because those 2 days of being so off and probably of sleep being impacted from alcohol intake are then kind of setting herself kind of back. So then it's like scratching and clawing, so that by Friday morning, she's back to where she was the prior week. But so like Renee said, you know, finding some hobbies and things like that, you know, asking your friends to go on walks with you versus going out to happy hour after work, you know, going in this situation, going golfing is one of those things as well, where I can go do that with friends and I don't have to partake in anything that's going to be, you know, messing up my nutrition for the day or whatever the case is. So finding ways you can do that. And again, this comes back to, you know, I say it on every single consult call. I know Renee does as well. But this comes back to communication is so important, you know, not just with your coach, but with who you spend time with, your loved ones, your friends and family, and just communicating on the upfront that, you know, I really want to prioritize my health or whatever the case is. And that doesn't mean that you need to say that I'm going on this really rigid diet. That's not what any of this is. It's just finding a better balance, and it's prioritizing yourself in a different way that you haven't before. And then just communicating that. And when you communicate that, you'll feel better about it. You won't feel like they don't understand because you've done your due diligence, and that's to let people know around you what you're doing and why you're doing it.
One of my other big things I'll do is just go sit at a coffee shop. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that, even though like sometimes I'll go with a friend, but 99% of the time I'll just go alone and either journal or do work or
Yeah.
listen to music or read a book or something. It's just time where I can go intentionally like find a new coffee shop. That in and of itself is a hobby, just looking all around it. Kansas
I
City coffee
agree.
shops. And you can
Yeah.
find some really cool ones. And then sometimes you never know, like who you meet or just people you run into or just little tiny conversations you can have. My other favorite me time is I like to wander Whole Foods. Um, I literally love it. I used to hate grocery shopping, but now I just love wandering and I look forward to it every week.
Whole Foods is a really fun grocery store to go just walk through. Some of you on
Mhm.
here might be like, that sounds absolutely crazy to me, but no, real, like Whole Foods is a really fun one to just go check out all the different stuff out there. And then that's also a good time that maybe not everybody has the free time to go do that. And if you do have free time, maybe you don't want to spend it in a grocery store, but I know that, I kind of enjoy that as well. And one other aspect to that is being grateful for it, thinking deeper about, we take for granted. Again, now we're just getting way off topic, but since you brought it up, though, I think this is really important, though. It's just like the water conversation that we have all the time on here about, so many people would kill to have just clean drinking water at their disposal everywhere they go. Same thing with grocery stores. I mean, you can go to half the world and it would be mind-blowing to them that we could just drive any direction for 2 minutes and land at a gas station or land at, especially at a Whole Foods or a grocery store, with endless selection from everything we can. So looking at it from that perspective as well, I think goes back to just being grateful and then really taking advantage of those things. Is not everybody just gets to just go to a grocery store and have access to just so much food that it's just overwhelming sometimes how much food there is. So I think just changing your perspective. If you don't like the grocery store, changing your perspective of, I'm grateful to be able to have this, to be able to actually go to a grocery store, and every single day of the week, at any time that I go in there, there is a million different options for me. And there's a lot of healthy stuff, there's a lot of unhealthy stuff, but you have the freedom to go do that. So take advantage of that and don't take it for granted. But kind of back to you said, though, that's a stress reliever for you. It's some me time. You can go learn about different foods. You can go find different stuff you can integrate into your diet that week. And again, all of these habits, they bounce off one another. They compound with one another to help create the life that you want to live and the feelings that it all gives you. But yeah, anything else? I'm good. So I don't know if you guys are good or not, but Renee, thanks for all your additions today and whatnot. Everybody else, though, tomorrow's check-in day. If you listen to the podcast version, hopefully you enjoy this as well, and it kind of gave you some good thoughts and pieces and excuses to go carve out some you time. So you guys have a good week. See you guys on check-in day. And looking ahead, next week we will be chatting most likely about Thanksgiving and just kind of planning ahead for what that should look like in terms of mainly. And in short, what we'll talk about next week is let's crush it from now until Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself for whatever Thanksgiving meals you guys have. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about that next week. The following Wednesday after that, I don't know what the date is, like the 22nd or something. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we will be taking that week off. So you could all go out and be with your families. I know I will be that night as well. And then we'll get back on it that last Wednesday of November. And then after that, guys, it's crazy. I feel like the year just started, but we are down to the last 7 or 8 weeks of the year. It's crazy. So let's finish strong. Right now is a time where a lot of people take their foot off the gas pedal and dig a hole for themselves to have to crawl back out of come January 1st. And this is a time where at the very, very bare minimum, we want to try to maintain and tread water. So when January 1st gets here, you're at least at the place that you're at currently right now. And again, not having to crawl back up a hill just to get back to where you are right now. And then even better, we make progress. Now, we should all be making progress, at least on the habit side of things, the mindset, the balance side of things, in terms of the holidays are a time you should be enjoying yourself, but the holidays are also the time that you want to control the meals, the choices, the sleeps, the workouts leading up to the holiday, events that you have going on, and then the meals the day of leading up to those holiday meals, the days after, and things like that. How much can you truly control the controllables during these next few months, and that will kind of help battle test you and bulletproof you for the rest of the year. Because if you can get through the holidays and treading water and controlling the controllables on the days that you can control them, the rest of the year is a breeze. So really work at that, the next couple of months, where none of us are going to make, most of us, I should say, are not going to make a ton of physical progress right now, but we can make so much progress in terms of solidifying a lot of these concepts within our life. So focus on that the next, handful of weeks, then we'll get to January 1st, and then it's a clean slate, and we're going to go crush it the rest of the year. So you guys have a good night, and talk to you guys on check-in day.